to international music. LCC Radio, 89.7 WLNZ, Lansing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's Friday, everybody's getting down. All the party people are going downtown. Today I get played and I'm going real far. WLNZ's jamming right in my car. All I gotta do is get through the day. The coffee break gets me started right away. Come on out, Lansing, and sing along. Everybody now, it's a Friday song. It's my day, it's the right day, it's Friday. WLNZ. It's Friday, it's my day, it's Friday. With the coffee break, it's the right day, it's my day, it's Friday. Come on, Lansing. It's Friday, it's my day, it's Friday. It's Friday morning.
Welcome to the Coffee Break on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. I'm Karen Love. Jack Robbins has the day off. I was so thrilled yesterday to come in from Miami and have dry weather. Well, that's all going to change. It's going to feel like Miami by the end of this weekend. Sunshine in our forecast with a high in the mid-80s today. Partly cloudy overnight tonight, a low in the mid-60s, and then partly sunny, high near 90 tomorrow. Sunny and hot on Sunday with a high in the low 90s and mostly sunny and hot. Chance of rain on Monday with a high near 90. Red Cedar Jubilee is going on this weekend. It is through the Sunday, the 23rd, so it goes on all this weekend. And through the 23rd, they've got the lawnmower races, the duck drop, and the food and beverage tents all happening in Williamston. The Oldsmobile Homecoming is at the Auto Owners Insurance Complex on the west side. That is Saturday, and it is the 26th annual. It will feature 1967 Oldsmobiles celebrating their 50th anniversary. The Lansing Juneteenth celebration and African parade that kicked off yesterday. It runs through Saturday. It's going to be at St. Joe Park, and there are all kinds of events that go on. They are celebrating their 25th anniversary today. The Dirty Feet Adventure Races are taking off tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. At Patriarch Park, and the race is going to begin in East Lansing outward to the Red Cedar River, along the MSU campus throughout the city of Lansing. If you want to finish in time, you'll need to be moving along pretty good clip. They hope to challenge people who have done races like this before. And if nothing else, you're going to end up dirty. Lansing Beer Fest is coming up this Saturday as well. It's from 1 until 6. That is in Rio Town. We're going to be talking to Paul Starr in just a little bit. Michigan Pride March, Rally, and Festival are taking place Saturday at noon. It starts in Old Town. The celebration is held in noon in Old Town. Monty Python Spamalot. It is your last weekend to see that at Riverwalk. And it is also the last weekend to catch Out of Orbit at Williamston Theater. Again, a Grand Ledge Music in the Park. Great night for it last night. Next Thursday, we will welcome Solstice to JC Park in Grand Ledge. The MSU Summer Circle Theater, Love is in the Air. This is your last chance to catch that. Love and Other Junk also will be their world premiere. That ends on Saturday. Today is the 15th of June. Jim Belushi was born on this date. He's 64 years old today. Helen Hunt is 55 and Courtney Cox is 54. Leah Remini is 48. Ice Cube, 48 today. Neil Patrick Harris is 45. If you're born on this date, you share your birthday with the singer and songwriter Without You, Harry Nilsson, and Jim Varney, who was Ernest P. Worrell. You know, hey, Vern, that guy. In history today, it was a big day. In 1752, Benjamin Franklin experimented by flying a kite during a thunderstorm. The result was a little spark that showed the relationship between lightning and electricity. In 1864, an order to establish a military burial ground was signed by Secretary of War Edwin Stanton that later became known as the Arlington National Cemetery. Congress passed legislation recognizing Native Americans as U.S. citizens in 1924. In 1956, John Lennon and Paul McCartney met for the first time in Liverpool. Lennon was 15 and McCartney was 13. Alice Cooper's boa constrictor died after being bitten by a rat on this day in 1977. That was big news in 1977. And during the O.J. Simpson trial in 1995, this was the day that O.J. was asked to put on the pair of gloves, the gloves that were said to have been worn by the killer on the night of the murders of Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. The gloves appeared not to fit. And in Northeast London, a trailer that contained thousands of copies of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix was stolen. The empty trailer was discovered 2 days later. That was in 2003. In 2009, Marvel Comics announced it would be resurrecting Captain America 2 years after the character was killed off in an issue. It was a good move. Captain America, the first Avenger, became one of the most successful superhero movies of all time in 2009. In 2012, the Obama administration said it would stop deporting young illegal immigrants who entered the United States as dreamers, or as children, rather, they're known as dreamers, if they met certain requirements in order to qualify for temporary work permits. And in 2015, Donald Trump launched his campaign for U.S. president. A lot of other people probably didn't notice, but Florida Governor Jeb Bush did as well. Today is Native American Citizen Day. It is National Smile Power Day, Worldwide Day of Giving, Fly a Kite Day, and World Electricity Day. And the best day of all, Recess at Work Day. Today, we've got a lot of great guests coming in from our community. We'll be back with those in just a moment. This is the Coffee Break on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. It's your community station. Cherie Williams, and I'm here to stay on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. Today is Friday. We play all Michigan artists on Friday. In the studio with me, I have got Joan Nelson from the Allen Neighborhood Center. Good morning.
Hello, Karen.
How are things going at the center?
At the center?
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah?
We're off to a lively start of the season. Our farmers market is now in its outdoor season, and so we are in the big parking lot on the west side of the building of the Kircher Complex in the 1600 block. It's a great market this year. Would encourage people to come check us out every Wednesday between 2:30 and 7. We have music every week between 5 and 6. We have about 30 vendors in the parking lot, as well as inside the Allen Marketplace facility. We have a food court inside the facility where we have a lot of ready-to-eat options, including our favorite terrific Ethiopian and Eritrean.
Love that.
It's so incredible. And she is now serving on her Teff waffle cones, MSU dairy ice cream.
Wow.
So that people can get Ethiopian food and an ice cream cone for dessert.
Oh, that's cool.
But lots of the farmers that people have developed relationships with over the years: Green Eagle, Hillcrest, Urbandale Farm, Magnolia Farm, Toy Box. They're all back. Nightingale with its amazing strawberries I saw day before yesterday.
That's
I know.
right.
And then we have Stone Circle bread and Hickory Knolls cheese and Schneider beef and Stony River chicken. So lots of eggs in the market. So people can do their grocery shopping on Wednesday and save their weekends for fun.
Right. It used to be the farmer's market was just fruits and vegetables. And now you can really seriously do all your food shopping.
We're very food focused. I mean, and it's a broad range of items, food items. And the coolest thing in our market is that people who are participants in our kitchen incubation program, as a perk, we give them a space at the market at no cost. And so the whole northwest corner of the market, of the outdoor market, is called the Kitchen Store.
Oh,
and
cool.
You'll see a sign there identifying it as the Kitchen Store and noting that all products are made on site in our Allen Marketplace kitchen. So Little Light Bakery is there. Pack Zetzer's unbelievable cheesecake. Unreal. Deadly and addictive. Abundance is there with extraordinary, really great salads, and her granola, occasional soups. Nancy's Kitchen is there, a new one with relishes. Sanctuary Pizza is in that corner with its sourdough crust pizza.
Yum.
And pizza dough. And she does a lot of local sourcing. On Wednesday, she had arugula from Urbandale Farm on her pizza. Really great. And who else? Others are there. Oh, we've got a kombucha, apple blossom kombucha, Jill Kazie's Divine Lotus tea blends. So it's very fun. And people can come to the market, support local farmers, and support local food producers and these entry-level food entrepreneurs who are launching their small businesses from within our kitchen. So come to the market Wednesdays, 2:30 to 7.
Now, do you take part in the Double Up?
We sure
bucks?
do.
Yeah.
We have a bank in the market.
Okay.
So people can come over to the bank and use their debit, credit, EBT, Double Up, Senior Project Fresh, WIC coupons, and our Market Walk coupons.
Oh, that's great.
Get the currency of your choice, and then every vendor accepts all of the currency.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Let's talk about that, the Market Walk.
Well, Market Walk is a program we've now done for a couple of years. It is supported by the Michigan Health Endowment Fund and by Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's very cool. In the summertime, people can join Market Walk and walk in Hunter Park on our wonderful path between 5 and 7 on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, and on Saturday morning between 9 and 11. And essentially, people accumulate miles. 10 times around the park is the equivalent of a $5 market coin.
Okay.
And people will walk out of there with $10 or $20. I mean, we have some families that come with their kids who walk, and they'll walk out with a number of coupons.
Oh, that's
great.
great.
And then they come to the market, and everybody accepts the coupons. Bring the coupons to the bank to get the Market Walk currency, and then spend on anything at the market, anything to your heart's content. Now, Senior Project Fresh has to be spent on vegetables and fruits.
Okay.
And they have to be spent at farmers markets. But the Market Walk coupons can be spent on dinner at Terrifics, and
All
you know,
right.
or pizza from Sanctuary, or you know, whatever people choose. So that's Market Walk. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
So people should just show up at the park, Hunter Park, lovely 13-acre,
beautiful.
rolling hills, lovely park in the 1400 block of East Kalamazoo, and just sign up that day.
Right.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We also have some workshops coming up.
Oh, yeah?
Speaking of Hunter Park and the greenhouse, the first one is tomorrow. I think it's from 10 to 12, and that's plant therapy. Our own Lacey Ingrau from Be Wise, is it Lacey who's doing this? From Be Wise Farms, yes.
Okay.
Who is doing this workshop. This was packed last year, and it's filling fast.
Do you need to?
You know, for pre-enroll is smart. You can risk walking in, but pre-enrolling is a good thing to do. 999-3910.
Okay.
To get further information and to or log on to our website www.allenneighborhoodcenter.org and go to the Hunter Park Garden House and the workshop series to register.
Okay.
So that's going to be excellent. And then next week we're doing intermediate beekeeping. I mean, who knew?
Oh.
You know, but we
beat to the point of intermediate.
Intermediate, I
beekeeping.
know. We've done beginning beekeeping now for a couple of years, and this has been asked by a sizable number of folks. They want to know what's next, and so this is intermediate beekeeping. This will not be at the greenhouse, even though we have a beehive now behind the greenhouse.
Oh, cool.
This will be in the 700 block of South Francis, down in the Urbandale neighborhood, which has become kind of the urban agricultural pulse of the city.
Yeah.
Lots of farms down there, about 9 of them.
Are there really that
yes,
many?
Yes, 9 self-described
Wow.
urban farms, Magnolia Farms, Urbandale Farm, excuse me, and others. And Be Wise Farm, which is Adam and Lacey Ingrau's farm, and they focus a lot on their bees. So the workshop will be there. It'll be highly interactive, and it'll be next step beekeeping for people who are who have embarked upon that.
Now, are you finding people in the neighborhood?
Oh,
quite
yeah.
a few people
Oh,
in the neighborhood
yes.
are embarking on beekeeping?
Yes, and
That's
beekeeping.
wonderful.
It's an interesting neighborhood. We have, you know, beekeeping is growing. Backyard chickens took off several years ago.
Yeah.
So we have backyard chickens, and we don't have pigs, we don't have cows,
Right,
no,
right.
Nor goats, nor any prospect of getting those anytime soon.
I was going to say, you know, there are
but
small
we,
cows.
I know, but we do have lots of backyard gardeners who participate in our whole series of gardening education workshops that we offer between June and July. You know, so lots of gardeners. We still have our Garden in a Box project that's actually over for this season. Each early June, we give out a number of 2x2 boxes to people who have limited gardening knowledge or income,
Space.
or mobility. So a lot of seniors have these, and they're only 2x2, so they're a nice introduction to gardening. They can actually yield a fair amount of produce, and our Youth Service Corps distributes these boxes to people's yards and sites them for sun and fills them with, wonderful soil and organic fertilizer and the plants of people's choices.
Oh, that's great.
So it is very cool. We now have over 120 boxes out.
Wow.
In the near east side, in the neighborhoods closest to the neighborhood center. The kids have to be able to haul the boxes in the wagon with the soil and fertilizer, so
Right.
it can't be too far afield. But so gardening, it's a lot of people are raising really great crops in the clay soil of the east side, the shady lots to supplement their groceries.
Yeah.
So that's going on. Let me see what else is happening.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see.
Market Walk, the workshop series. Oh, our fall veggie box.
Oh, right.
Is
I can't
open.
believe we're already talking
I
about
know.
that.
Our worksite delivery project.
Yeah.
We have this exchange food hub, and on the food hub is an online wholesale farmers market. So there are a whole lot of farmers and food producers, as well as institutional and commercial buyers. And so we are linking growers and producers to commercial buyers, restaurants, caterers, hospitals, schools that are really committed to buying local. And but one of the projects of the exchange is our Veggie Box project, which is a worksite delivery project. It's like a multi-farm CSA. So what happens is that every week we select the very best from the exchange, from 8 to 10 farmers, and on Thursdays we pack, at this point, 230 boxes.
Wow.
of kind of refrigerated boxes, waxed boxes with fruits and vegetables, and then we deliver to work sites where there are at least 5 subscribers. So this year, we just closed the summer Veggie Box enrollment, and we have 16 work sites.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Right, so and about half of those Veggie Boxes are being delivered to the work sites. Half are actually being picked up in the Allen Marketplace on Thursday afternoons between 12 and 6. People find it easier just to stop on their way home from work and collect their boxes.
Yeah.
So that filled up a week before the close date. So we were really quite startled.
Yeah.
There'll be about a total of 500 between the summer distribution and the fall distribution this year. We're anticipating that the fall distribution, which is end of September through mid-December, is going to fill up too. So we opened it 2 weeks ago.
That's probably a good idea.
And we already have about 15 people enrolled in it. So the fall Veggie Box is open. People can call Kat at 517-999-3923 for more information about the fall Veggie Box. They can also, if they think that their worksite might be interested in being a part of this, they can schedule an informational, and Kat will come out to the worksite and over a lunch hour or a staff meeting, bring a sample box and talk with people about what's involved in the Veggie Box program. And what she'll tell people is not only can they get the very best from local farms in this Veggie Box, but they can also order add-ons: grazing field eggs, Stone Circle bread, Schneider beef, Stony River chicken, all those people that are often to be found in our market. So they can have their groceries delivered to their work site on Thursday.
That's so convenient.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's
really
awesome.
Fun.
Yeah.
And it's all local. The fact is that everything, whether every farm product that is distributed through any of our programs, whether at the farmers market, whether to a local hospital or school, through the exchange, or through the Veggie Box, is local. They
That's
are farmers usually within 50 miles of town. So some are organic practices, some are conventional. That's not an issue for us. Our issue is it local?
Right.
And we know that local purchases from local farms and food producers has huge economic benefits to the region.
Right. Not to mention health benefits.
Yes, ag is an economic driver. Urban ag as well is an economic driver. So we're excited. We're really excited about being a part of that, and really really happy to see it growing steadily. There are farmers markets throughout the region. In Lansing, we have our market on Wednesday. South Lansing Community Development Agency has their market on Thursday. There are markets, lots of Saturday markets throughout
Sunday
in the Out County, East Lansing on Sunday. So there are 25 farmers markets in mid-Michigan and one mobile market operating out of Northwest Initiative on the west side of Lansing. So, it's easier and easier for people to buy local. It's fresh. It's less likely to be,
to know
carrying
your tomato was off the vine that morning as opposed to picked green and thrown in a truck.
And as we advertised a month or so ago, it's safe romaine and safe greens.
Yes.
And,
that makes a huge difference.
It sure does. It sure does. So,
I don't think I don't think I'd eat romaine at this point if it didn't come from somewhere I knew.
well, we have Monroe Organics on the exchange with their romaine, and it is delicious. And, so, or you can come to the farmer's market, and several of our farmers, carry romaine, and it's been picked that morning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, to know the farmer that raised your food and have a conversation with him, in 5 minutes before you purchase,
That makes
is
a big
reassuring.
difference. Yeah, it is reassuring. Yeah.
It makes it real for everybody on both ends.
Right. And you also kind of eat what's in season.
Yes, it's all seasonal. I mean, people come to our May market and they ask about tomatoes. We have to explain that, tomatoes actually, they'll see lots of tomatoes in July.
Right.
Although, increasingly, we have farmers that use hoop houses, and so
right.
yesterday's veggie box, had cherry tomatoes from Peckham Farms.
Oh, great!
Grown indoors, or grown in the greenhouse. So, and I had them last night. They're delicious, So we can push the edges a little bit of seasonal, growing, of the seasonal growth, but still, it's it really does tend to put us much more in touch with what the seasons, what the months produce, what the summer months produce in Michigan.
Yeah.
And hoop houses are wonderful. Most of the farmers in our market and most of the farmers on the exchange have hoop houses at this point. They extend the growing season, the Michigan's short growing season, hugely. Our own greenhouse is a year-round greenhouse. We're still growing in October, November. We're growing even through the dead of winter, but it's more limited, but then we can be doing starts in February.
Yeah.
So it's and greens in early spring. So it's been helpful. The hoop house technology has been really helpful for
I think that's made
farmers.
a difference, for farmers, especially being able to produce year-round or close to it.
Right. I was in Costa Rica recently visiting sustainable community development sites, and there was one community in the foothills of San Jose that had gotten a grant, and they were building 75 hoop houses in families' backyards.
Oh, wow.
And then teaching them sort of the crop rotation that would enable them to feed a family of 4 from that hoop house.
That's
It's really
amazing.
it's quite exciting, really interesting.
Yeah,
So-
that must have been a fascinating trip.
Oh, it was
overall.
really fascinating, really fascinating. We got to go to Monteverde, to the cloud forest, and spend a couple of days at a coffee farm that was absolutely fascinating. And we spent a couple of days working with women, the Bribri women, an indigenous group on the Caribbean who run permaculture farms. There's a co-op of 22 women-owned farms, and they are able to provide for their family about 80% of their family's needs through their own 1-acre permaculture farms, and then they trade with the other members of the cooperative for whatever else they need. And they also make great chocolate. So it was an eye-opening trip, and one of the most fascinating aspects of it was realizing in conversation with folks is that it all begins for them with reverence for the land. So there is no organic certification, but their practices are very clean and very organic because chemical inputs are not something that they would, many of them, consider. Now, of course, we also have huge corporations raising tons of bananas there and planes flying over with spraying 3 times a day, but so it gives one pause.
Yes.
But in any case, it was a transformative trip, and really learned a lot. But
that's wonderful.
that's another conversation. And thank you, MSU Residential College for Arts and Humanities and Vince Delgado for the opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
It's always so interesting. Joe Nelson with Allen Neighborhood Center on the Coffee Break on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. It's your community station.
Well, my baby's got a body like a bear. babe's got a body like a bell. She's so fine, it's ringing all the time. Honey's in the kitchen, mixing up a birthday pie. Honey's in the kitchen, mixing up a birthday pie. I'm at the table, working up an appetite. Time will tell if I'm a sweet farewell, an angel is waiting to fly. Please, baby, please, feels like I'm lost in the trees. Won't you try and ease my mind, my mind? My babe, my babe, well, my babe, she comes from a northern town. Well, my babe, she comes from a northern town. She plays on the field. Lord, I live to hear that sound. Time will tell if I'm a sweet farewell, an angel is waiting to fly. Please, baby, please, don't ever let me be. Won't you drop me a line, a line? My mind, my mind. My babe, ooh, my babe, body like a bell, body like a bell.
Red Tail Ring on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. This is the Coffee Break, and in the studio with me, Mayor Mark Meadows from East Lansing. Good morning. Good morning. How are things going in East Lansing?
Well, it's always sunny in East Lansing. It looks like it is everywhere now. So, summer's here. It's hot.
It's quiet.
Quieter.
Quieter, yeah.
But, we still have almost 17,000, 18,000 students that attend Michigan State for summer classes. So we're Michigan State becomes the size of a small college, a smaller college, during the summer months.
Yeah, it's going to get big in the fall. I understand it's the biggest class.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, a few years ago, the president was saying, hey, we're this is it. We physically cannot handle more students. So I don't know exactly what changed, but, they are admitting more, I think, at the early, at the freshman level as opposed to maybe graduate students. But I think they're still sort of limited in terms of the physical ability to handle more students. But
well, there's only so many rooms.
Class,
yeah, it's a big class. We'll look for them to enjoy East Lansing too.
That's
and learn
right.
all about it. So we're going to talk though about the the income tax proposal.
Sure, I'm glad to.
Let's talk about what's different about this than when it first went up for election.
Yeah, we appointed a financial health team, right after I got elected, actually, and that team took a year of testimony, public hearings, community forums, to make a report with 43 recommendations in it. And the City Council has been studiously following the recommendations, and some of them are in the alternative. Some of them are don't do this, and a lot of them, very few actually are sort of action items. But one of the action items is to raise revenue within the city. They gave us a number of alternatives, and last fall we put the income tax on the ballot. It failed. I thought it was kind of narrowly. Our public forums afterwards indicated that people were a little confused about what we were going to do with that.
That's what I wondered, if it was a little, sometimes, especially the first time around. People don't really understand what that's about.
Yeah, and so they voted overwhelmingly to lower their property taxes if an income tax was passed, and they passed a property tax increase that the county had on the ballot. So it was a little confusing to see, was it just don't do an income tax?
Right.
Well, it turned out, based on what we heard at our community forums and what we heard from a professional, regular survey that was done by Epic MRA for us, is that people wanted to make sure that that money was used for specific purposes. They wanted to see it used to make sure that we have adequate police and fire service within the community. They wanted to see the roads improved and sidewalks fixed and things like that. And they also wanted to see us pay down the unfunded liability we have for pensions. We only have like 400 retirees that the city services, but that adds up.
Yeah.
And unfunded liability is really about how long we expect people to live, and what kind of health they would be in, and
it's a lot to predict.
And how much the stock market is going to pay out if you have it. So all of those assumptions come up with an unfunded liability. So we have to deal with that because, we have no trouble paying the bills right now, but in 10 years we'll have trouble paying the bills if we have to continuously ramp up our payments with regard to that. So that's what this is all about. The public said we also don't want it to last forever. So that's the difference, is really that it's going into the charter, so it can only be changed by a vote of the people.
Okay.
And that if they approve it this time, it'll last only 12 years, and that money 60% will go to the pension unfunded liability, 20% will go to police and fire, and 20% will go to infrastructure, buildings, improvements, maintenance with regard to those. So that's what we heard from the public. So, this wasn't really crafted by the city council. This was crafted by the citizens of East Lansing, at least the ones who participated in all of those forums and things like that.
Now, for people who would pay the income tax, is it people who work in East Lansing, people who live in East Lansing, or a mixture of both?
It would be both.
It would be both.
And
okay.
so, just like Lansing, so if I don't know where you live, but if you live outside the city's borders, what you earn here is you pay a tax to the city of Lansing, because during the day you're protected by their police, you're protected by their fire, you use the sidewalks, you use the streets, things like that. That's all we're saying too. So, largely it would be probably Michigan State University employees. That's our largest employer in the city of East Lansing. But there are plenty of other employees also in our city, and they would pay 0.5%. Now, I worked here in the city of Lansing for over 30 years, and I don't think I ever paid more than $312 a year in city income taxes. So it's not
close.
Overwhelming, but but it's still until people do the math, they don't know exactly how this is going to impact them. But if you make $100,000 a year, you're going to pay 1% of that to the city, or 0.5% of that to the city of East Lansing, minus whatever deductions we have in the ordinance.
Right.
And I think it's a fair thing to do, and it certainly takes a little bit of the burden, and it takes away the issue that we've had with Michigan State University for a lengthy period of time, which is a lower funding for the fire service that we provide to campus. It doesn't come close to meeting our costs of providing that service. So this money will make up for part of that, and we no longer have that conflict with the university. So I think it's a very good thing in that regard as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, like you said, it was very confusing at the beginning, and don't you think a lot of people thought, oh, why do we need to fund that stuff? Aren't we already paying our taxes for that stuff?
It's true, but this was actually coupled with a property tax reduction. East Lansing, actually Lansing and East Lansing, are among the highest property tax collectors, in the state of Michigan. And so, we're either on a list as number 5 or number 11, depending on whose list it is. But the simple fact is, that affects the ability to sell property within the city. Those high property taxes, they're largely school taxes. We haven't really raised the city's portion of this in quite a long time, and neither is Lansing. So lowering that is a benefit for people who want to sell their property. It's a benefit to people who might want to buy property in the city, because like when you buy your car, basically when you buy a house, you say, okay, how much is it going to cost me a month? And if it's reasonable to you, you buy it if you want it. And if it isn't, you don't. And so making that more affordable for people by having that calculation of their mortgage payment done, I think is going to be very beneficial to the real estate industry in our city in particular.
And it does fund those things that really need to be funded. That was one of the stark realities, I think, when people realized they would lose police and fire.
Yeah, I think, we're sort of like, we've already gotten all the low-hanging fruit. We've been cutting
Oh, yeah.
for almost 20 years now, because people forget that we had a big a reduction in the stock market in 2002 and 2003 as well. So we had this sort of mini recession. Then 5 years later we had a major the Great Recession kicked in, and about 2 years after that, about 2010, is when you really start to see the effect of that. So we've been reducing staff. We were when I was mayor in 2000, we had 120 more employees than we'd have right now. When our unfunded liability was like 15%. Now it's 50%. So and the reduction from the state in terms of revenue sharing and all of the stuff they give to cities to keep them going, that has also impacted our ability. Plus, property values went down in the Great Recession. So it takes a long time for that stuff to come back, and this will help us get over the hump, reduce that obligation to the point where we get back to the amount of money that we were paying for pensions in the year 2000, which is $2 million a year, not 12 or $15 million a year. So you can see it's a huge change for us.
Yeah.
And that's, roughly half of our general fund.
So what is the response? Have you been out in the community then?
We're starting door to door tomorrow, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a citizens committee that is running a campaign, and that campaign is for yes. You can see the lawn signs sprouting in the city of East Lansing, if you drive through. We haven't seen, a lot of opposition at this point in time, but I think largely because, again, it was really the citizens of the city who crafted this new proposal. And this proposal, I think, reflects more of what people would really like to see if they're going to go in this direction. So I'm hoping for a better result, obviously, because we really need to have this be successful. But yeah, we'll be out in the community knocking doors starting tomorrow. There'll be, mailers. We've been raising money. There've been a lot of people who just out of the blue made contributions to the ballot committee, because we haven't done a lot of advertising yet. So I think things look well, and I feel much more confident about this proposal than I did last November's.
And this is not going to be as part of November's. It's not going to be up. On the ballot. It's in August.
Right.
This one. So this is like coming right up.
It's coming right up. Yeah, I think we figured the other day like 42 days or something like that.
Oh, wow.
It's a little more than that, I guess. It's But it's not much more than that. 'Cause
No,
31
'cause it's-
plus whatever's left in June plus 7 days in August. So whatever that works out to, the math,
We got that many
that's,
days.
That's how many days we've got. So, we're being very active, and we're promoting it. The city has been sending out facts about it. And there's a way on the city's website to take your income, take your property tax value, and do the calculation to see how this would impact you.
Oh, that's great.
So seniors don't pay it. Unlike the
Okay.
state, seniors don't pay any local income tax on their pensions or their Social Security or their 401k or their 457 or their IRA if they're over the age of 59 and a half. So all those distributions that people rely on to live after they retire, those are free from the income tax. Seniors get quite a benefit here.
Right.
I had somebody say, yeah, I would have voted for it, but I didn't like seeing the seniors get so much of a benefit.
So much of a benefit?
Yeah, that's it. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, if you're a retiree at age 65, you probably have been working at least 40 years, maybe longer than that, maybe 50 years.
Right.
And you're looking at it, and you've been paying for all these roads, sidewalks, whatever, police, fire, everything, for that a lot longer than the person who's complaining about it.
Right.
And so, I think you do deserve a little bit of a break. So seniors won't be taxed on their pensions. If they're getting a lot of money from stock investments and things like that, yes, they're going to pay, an income tax on it. And they're going to get a $5 million reduction in their property taxes, which equals about 10% of their total property taxes in East Lansing will be eliminated. So all that money is cash in the pocket. We expect them to spend it in East Lansing, and that will boost our local businesses. And as they make more money, they'll also pay some income tax to us. So we think that it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
So if it's about I told people yesterday that if you've been to a basketball game last year, you saw the Michigan State basketball team in their T-shirts that said, it's not about me, it's about we. And that's exactly what this is about. It's not about my individual, income and, how much it's going to cost me. It's about what we can do for our community and make it healthy. Because a healthy community, one that is financially healthy, is a great attraction to professors and helping the university in the region. Andy Shore and I had coffee the other morning, and we were talking. We were thinking, East Lansing has about $500 million in development projects underway right now. Lansing has $1 billion in development projects, and more coming online. If Red Cedar comes with the McLaren is $600 million of investment in our community, in our region.
Wow.
We are, there is a lot of action here that is positive for the region, not just East Lansing and Lansing, but for the region itself. We all benefit from that. So East Lansing having a solid financial footing will be a benefit to the region as well.
Yeah. Wonderful. What is the website if people do want to go up and get more
That
information?
is a good question, and I don't know off the top of my head. So I wish I could say that.
Is it listed on the city's website? Or is
it's
it
probably not on
separate?
the city's website. But,
Oh, it's separate. Okay.
But a better plan, which is the start of our URL,
Okay.
is has a Facebook page. We're on social media consistently. And all of that information is contained on the committee's webpage, and you can get it by just typing in a better plan.
Okay.
So.
All right. Easy
Or
enough,
committee
then.
to protect East Lansing's future. That's also
Okay.
another one.
It's a little more complicated, but
Yeah.
thank you so much. I
Hey,
appreciate
my pleasure.
it. Mayor Mark Meadows from East Lansing on the Coffee Break on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. It's your community station.
Running so heavy up the Ghost Highway. Couldn't see the sign, but I found my way. Caught a break from the kitchen, so I stopped to pray. the points are about to blow. Hope these blues don't take my soul. Where would I find a place to call my own? Will I find a way to see? I'll keep running till my hope is gone. Love that thing that keeps chasing me, yeah.
This is the Coffee Break on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. It's your community station. And in the studio with me, I've got Paul Starr from Lansing Beer Fest. How's it going this morning? Good. That's good. You got a festival coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, tomorrow is the 6th annual Lansing Beer Fest in Riotown. So it's on Washington Avenue between Elm Street and South Street. So we shut it down, and we have about 25 Michigan breweries, cideries, distilleries out, and with live music from like Handsome Pete, Heart of Jordan, and Jonestown Crows. So we're kind of going for a rock feel, and kind of a smaller space. I think it'll might scare some people, but also I think it'll be fine. So. And also, we started last year. We started bringing on giant games. We have giant chess and checkers. And this year,
fun!
I added a giant Connect Four. So,
so that's got to be some pretty competitive action right there.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. So it's just it's not like Beer Fest the Ballpark where that one is just like turned up to 11, like all crazy beers. It's we have a nice selection, but it's lighter, summier beers, easy drinking stuff, and just a lot of great products. And if you're not if you're not into beer, we have spirits and cider, and like American Fifth, they're doing Bloody Marys and
nice.
What's the bourbon and the mint juleps.
Mint juleps.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So mint juleps, and then we have like Michigan doing like vodka and cranberry and vodka and lemonade. So great stuff. And Red Cedar doing some stuff too. So yeah, we have a lot of other stuff than beer. So like a fun festival, and of course we have tons of other vendors, so like merchandise vendors and all that kind of stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Food.
Yeah, food for sure. Yeah, we have like
can't have beer at festival.
Yeah. We have Shove It. It's the pizza food truck, which is phenomenal. And then we have From Scratch food truck, does like Mediterranean stuff, and Miss K's Kitchen. They do. I think it's like a lot of vegetarian options. So we kind of have something for everyone, and people can always leave and go to Saddleback or go to Truck and Diner.
Right.
And further down the street will be the Picnic food truck too. So we have several food options. And I also want to mention that the Riotown Marketplace is having an event tomorrow too. So they'll have tons of vendors in there. And so if you're on your way down to the beer fest, I would swing into the Riotown Marketplace and check it out.
Mm-hmm. Where's the Riotown Marketplace?
It's on the other side of Elm Street on Washington. It used to be Foliage Designs building.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it's Gene still owns a building, but it's now Riotown Marketplace. They have a lot of neat little shops in there and stuff like that. So it's a cool spot.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, that is. It sounds like it's going to be a great afternoon. It's going to be a hot one.
Yeah, it's going to be a scorcher. We have some tents and I mean you could never have enough, but we have some tents and we'll have water readily available and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but also what we did a couple years ago, we pushed the festival back from noon to 6, which noon to 6 you're just taking a beating all day. To 3 to 9 this year. Well, it's general admission is 4 p.m. but VIP is 3 p.m. and go till 9. So kind of like have the festival. It'd be pretty warm, but once you start getting 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, it's gonna be
really comfortable.
Yeah, it's gonna be
nice.
comfortable.
Yeah.
So
that makes a big difference.
Yeah. So it's just it's kind of one way to combat if it's like 90, 95 degrees. So
right. Still going to be a beautiful day.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, last year the festival, it was nice and muggy in the most of the day, and like at 7:30, the sky just unleashed, and it just kept pouring. It was crazy. But so I'm hoping this year we'll stay dry, and we can be some little sun
Oh,
and a little
no.
heat. So
Some nice rock and roll music.
Yeah.
Out on the street. That's awesome.
So yeah, it's good. I've had enough crummy weather days for festivals. I'll take sunny and hot any day of the week. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I got a little tan on, so I won't burn too bad.
There you go. There you go. You'll be all hooked up. Isn't it crazy though? From 6 years ago when you started this with basically beer, the difference in our community as far as what is available, cideries and the distilleries and.
Yeah, when I started, I think Bad Brewing and Eagle Monk were the only, I mean, other than Harper's, were the only ones like open in the area.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. So kind of over time, like now it's like Lansing Beer Fest is more just kind of showcasing Lansing, and so yeah, I mean, it's really crazy how much it's grown. It's really crazy how much Reotown has grown.
Yes.
And it's exciting to see.
It's been wonderful to see Reotown grow.
Because it's just, it's a nice area, and the river trail runs right through it, and so so you're like, hey, we can get off here and go to Good Truck and Diner or go to Saddleback. I think it's really cool, and I just I have an office back in Reotown again, and I'm really excited because I just like the area. Like it's just a lot of good people just want to do cool fun things. So
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to it tomorrow, starting at 3.
Start at 4 for general admission,
4.
3
Okay.
for VIP.
All right.
And all the details can be found on lansingbeerfest.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Paul Starr on the Coffee Break on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. I want to thank Joe Nelson from the Allen Neighborhood Center and Mark Meadows from East Lansing, Mayor of East Lansing. This is the Coffee Break on LCC Radio 89.7 and LCC TV. It's your community station.
AP Radio News. I'm Rita Foley. An extraordinary appearance by the president on the White House lawn this morning. He talked at length with reporters about a range of issues. Robert Mueller's Russia investigation.
I think that the Mueller investigation has been totally